Welcome back to Philosophy Unpacked. Today, we are exploring a truly beautiful and poetic chapter from Nietzsche's Thus Spoke Zarathustra, titled Before Sunrise.
This sounds fascinating. Zarathustra often uses powerful natural imagery, so I'm excited to see what deep ideas he connects to the morning sky.
He absolutely does. He begins by addressing the heaven above him, calling it a pure, deep heaven and an abyss of light, which immediately sets a very profound tone.
An abyss of light is such a striking phrase. Usually we think of an abyss as something dark and empty, but he sees it as full of light.
Exactly. For him, the sky's vastness isn't emptiness to be feared, but a depth of purity and innocence he yearns for. He wants to toss himself into its height.
So it's like a personal goal or an ideal. He sees this perfect, pure heaven and wants to become one with it, to find his own innocence within it.
That's a perfect way to put it. He also notes that the heaven is silent, and in its silence it proclaims its wisdom, just as it hides its stars during the day.
So true wisdom doesn't need to be loud and boastful. The sky is this massive, powerful entity, yet it communicates its nature quietly and modestly.
Precisely. Zarathustra feels a deep personal connection to it, stating they've been friends from the beginning. He feels they share a common ground in understanding.
And this is a friendship that doesn't need words, right? He says they don't speak because they know too much and just smile their knowledge to each other.
Yes, it's a profound spiritual kinship. He even asks the heaven, "Art thou not the light of my fire? Hast thou not the sister soul of mine insight?"
It feels like he's found a kindred spirit in the universe itself. They've learned together to rise above the messiness of the world below.
And that messiness is described as constraint and purpose and guilt steaming like rain below them, while they smile down from a clear, unclouded perspective.
This leads him to the things he hates, doesn't it? He specifically mentions hating the passing clouds, which seems like a very strong reaction to something so natural.
It's a powerful metaphor. The clouds are not just water vapor. They represent everything that taints the purity of the heaven and obscures this clear perspective.
What kind of things do these clouds represent in life? Are they people or maybe certain types of ideas that get in the way?
He describes them as mediators and mixers, these half and half ones. They represent mediocrity, doubt, and a lack of conviction, things that are neither one thing nor the other.
So he's talking about people who are non-committal, who can't fully bless or fully curse. They just sort of drift by, obscuring clarity.
Exactly. He detests these stealthy cats of prey because they rob both him and the heaven of what they share, a vast, unbounded yea and amen saying.
That term yea saying is so central to Nietzsche. It's about affirming life, right? So these clouds, this mediocrity, prevents that total affirmation.
Yes, and his hatred for them is so intense, he says he'd rather sit in a tub under a closed heaven or in an abyss without one than see it tainted by them.
That's an extreme statement. He'd prefer total darkness to a sky that's just partially obscured by doubt and indecision. He wants all or nothing.
He even wishes he could pin them down with lightning and beat on them like a drum, an angry drummer reclaiming his yea and amen from them.
That term, yea-saying, is so central to Nietzsche. It's about affirming life, right? So these clouds, this mediocrity, prevents that total affirmation.
Yes, and his hatred for them is so intense, he says he'd rather sit in a tub under a closed heaven or in an abyss without one than see it tainted by them.
That's an extreme statement. He'd prefer total darkness to a sky that's just partially obscured by doubt and indecision. He wants all or nothing.
He even wishes he could pin them down with lightning and beat on them like a drum, an angry drummer reclaiming his yea and amen from them.
Yes, so he prefers the storm, the thunder and tempest, over what he calls the discreet, doubting cat repose. He wants passion, not quiet hesitation.
This is where he learns a key lesson from the clear heaven. He who cannot bless shall learn to curse. It's a call for passionate conviction, one way or the other.
It's better to have a strong, even negative stance than to be lukewarm and non-committal. That seems to be the core message against mediocrity.
Ultimately, though, Zarathustra identifies himself as a blesser and a yay-sayer. He wants to carry his affirmation into all abysses, but only when the pure heaven is around him.
So his ability to bless everything, to say yes to life, is dependent on having this clear, untainted ideal to look up to. It's his source of strength.
And he defines his blessing very specifically: to stand above everything as its own heaven, its round roof, its azure bell, and eternal security.
He wants to be the source of that security and clarity for all things. And he says, blessed is he who can offer this kind of blessing.
This leads to one of his most radical ideas. He says all things are baptized beyond good and evil, which he sees are mere fugitive shadows and passing clouds.
So he's moving past traditional morality. Good and evil are just like those temporary clouds that obscure the deeper, eternal reality of existence.
Precisely. And this is where he introduces the idea that replaces a divine plan. He teaches that above all things there standeth the heaven of chance.
The heaven of chance, innocence, hazard, and even wantonness. This sounds like he's saying there is no grand purpose or destiny guiding everything.
That's the heart of it. He says he emancipated them from bondage under purpose. He freed the world from the idea of an eternal will that dictates everything.
So instead of everything happens for a reason, Nietzsche is proposing that things happen because of chance and randomness. That could sound scary to some.
It can, but for him, it's liberating. He replaces that controlling will with what he calls wantonness and folly, a kind of playful freedom.
It's like comparing life to a play. Instead of a rigid script written by an eternal will, he sees it as an improvisational performance, full of surprises.
A perfect analogy. He even says that in everything, one thing is impossible: rationality. There's no single overarching logic controlling the universe.
He does admit there's a little reason and a germ of wisdom scattered about, but it's mixed in for the sake of folly, which is a fascinating reversal.
Yes, wisdom exists, but he found a blessed security in the fact that all things ultimately prefer to dance on the feet of chance.
So the ultimate reality isn't a complex logical machine, but a dance, a joyful, unpredictable, and spontaneous movement. That's a beautiful image.
This is the ultimate purity for him. It's pure because there is no eternal reason spider and reason cobweb trapping everything in a web of logic.
Wow, a reason spider. He paints logic as something predatory and confining rather than liberating. That's a very counterintuitive idea for many.
Instead of a web, the heaven is a dancing floor for divine chances and a table of the gods for divine dice and dice players.
Life is a game of dice, played by gods on a celestial dance floor. It's not about winning or losing based on a plan, but about the joy of the game itself.
This is the climax of his revelation, but then he notices the heaven is blushing. He wonders if he has spoken unspeakable things in his desire to bless it.
Or perhaps, he suggests, it's the shame of being two of us that makes it blush. It feels like the intimacy of the moment is becoming too much.
Yes, and he realizes why. The heaven is bidding him to be silent because the day is coming. The sun is about to rise.
So this deep, profound conversation could only happen in the special moments before sunrise. Daylight brings a different kind of reality with it.
He says not everything may be uttered in presence of day. Some truths are for the quiet, solitary moments of introspection, not for the busy public world.
It's a very personal and almost sacred communion he's had. And now that the world is waking up, it's time for them to part ways.
Indeed. He calls the heaven his happiness before sunrise and says a final, gentle farewell. The day cometh, so let us part.
What a powerful ending. The whole chapter is a journey from admiration to shared understanding to a radical re-envisioning of the universe as a dance.
It truly is. It teaches us to find freedom not in a pre-written destiny, but in embracing the beautiful, unpredictable, and sometimes chaotic dance of life.
And to be wary of those passing clouds of mediocrity and doubt that try to obscure our own clear sky and our ability to say yes to it all.
I think the core takeaway is the value of conviction. Whether you bless or you curse, do it from the heart, and don't get lost in the gray, cloudy in-between.
It's a call to live passionately and to find our own heaven of chance to dance in, free from the spider webs of rigid purpose and external expectation.
Beautifully summarized. This chapter really captures the essence of Nietzsche's life-affirming philosophy in such a poetic and accessible way.
It really does. It's less of a dense philosophical argument and more of a spiritual revelation shared between a man and the sky before dawn.
A perfect description. The imagery of the dance floor for divine chances will certainly stick with me. It's a liberating way to view existence.
Me too. It transforms the fear of randomness into an invitation to a cosmic celebration. Thank you for walking us through that incredible chapter.
My pleasure. Join us next time as we continue to unpack more profound ideas from the world's greatest thinkers right here on Philosophy Unpacked.